Just bring yourself to the here and now, using your breath as a vehicle, as a doorway into the present moment. हमारी सांस हमेशा वर्तमान में ही होती है, तो इस वर्तमान में चलने वाली सांस के साथ अपने आप को जोड़ दीजिए. And arrive at this moment, which is the only moment there actually is. Just be in the here and the now. The here and the now, the only moment in which we actually live, is always available, always present, always free of any kind of trouble, any kind of problem, always full of peace, always full of love, always full of okayness, always full of joy, always full of beauty, and is you. Bring yourself to this here and now. And see how this here and now can always be part of your awareness, part of your movement in life, part of your words, part of your actions, part of your thoughts. In fact, it always is already that. But now let it be so knowingly, ये जानते हुए, क्योंकि ये पल जो है और जो आप है असलियत में, उसी से ये संसार रंगा हुआ है. हमेशा उसी से रंगा हुआ था, हमेशा उसी से रंगा हुआ रहेगा. सिर्फ हम हैं जो भूल जाते हैं उस रंग को और अपने आप को खो जाते हैं. लाल ना रंगाऊं, हरे ना रंगाऊं, लाल ना रंगाऊं, हरे ना रंगाऊं, अपने ही रंग में रंग दे चुनरिया, श्याम पिया मोरी रंग दे चुनरिया, श्याम पिया मोरी रंग दे चुनरिया, ऐसी रंग दे रंग नाही छूटे, ऐसी रंग दे रंग नाही छूटे, धोबिया धोए चाहे सारी उमरिया, श्याम पिया मोरी रंग दे चुनरिया, श्याम पिया मोरी रंग दे चुनरिया. Let all our moments be colored, infused, permeated, absorbed in, absorbed with the color of awareness, the color of truth, the color of love, the color of beauty, the color of joy. No matter what the scene, no matter what the content, no matter who the person, no matter what the words, no matter what the action, let this be the backdrop, the color, the energy permeating all of that. And even the content itself is nothing but the activity of that. There is only that and the activity of that. Let it be so knowingly. And slowly open your eyes, and if you have, close them and just return to this dream world. Come out of the awakened state and enter this dream. Re enter this dream called life, knowingly, infused with the awakened reality that you really are. So it's all a wonderful paradox, all a wonderful paradox. And so we were talking last on Tuesday about this particular Gita called the Avdut Gita. So everyone knows the Bhagavad Gita, everyone has heard of maybe Ashtavakra Gita also. But one of the lesser known ones is the Avdut Gita. And Avdut means freedom. Avdut, the one who is free while being alive, while being in this body. The one who is free is called as an Avduta. So Avduta Gita is about discovering and living freedom while still bound in this limited form, in this limited body. And it's, to me, it is one of the ultimate texts on non-duality, on oneness, on awareness, the true nature of reality. And it's very interesting. It's very wonderful. I just discovered it last week, and I was sharing the one shlok that really uh, got my attention, and so I wanted to share that one shlok out of, there are about, I think there are 8 chapters, and each with about 10 shlokas, so there are 80, 90 shlokas, maybe 100. And I read all of them, but this one just blew me away. This one just said it all, just said it all. And so I wanted to share that one with you. So, and we are going line by line on this one. So we talked about the first line of this 4-line shloka last time, and uh, so the first line jo hai is Tvadyatra vyapakta hatate Tvadyatra vyapakta hatate. Hata yani deny. I deny your omnipresence by going on a pilgrimage. When I go on a pilgrimage, going on a pilgrimage is equivalent to denying your omnipresence. Because what is the statement I'm making with my travel? I'm saying you are over there in this pilgrim spot inside the temple, particular one over there, and I want to go there and go see you and meet you and find you over there. And in doing so, we deny, we imply that that is not present here now. I need to go somewhere else. So tvadyatraya vyapakta hatate. And so that was the first line. We went into some detail on Tuesday. And the next line, another bombshell. It's a bombshell because nothing less than that. Because most people who are, have a spiritual inclination, are seekers, they would love to go on these pilgrimages and, discover themselves and this divine in this pilgrimage spot. But and many of us may have gone past temples and pilgrimages and gone into, past the ritual aspect of spirituality, and may have taken the next step into meditation, for example. That, okay, we don't need to go anywhere, but I can meditate. I can meditate on this form of the divine and be one with the divine and experience the divine. And in doing so, deepen my sadhana, deepen my knowledge. But Dattatreya Bhagwan, in this second line, उस पे भी एक bomb फोड़ देते हैं. And the bomb that is there in the second line goes,
Sanjivji, we can't hear you.
no, because I am not speaking yet. Can you hear me? Hello? The world is very consistent today. You're on mute, Pankaj. Hold on. Unmute. Hold on. She'll, are you able to unmute?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, you'll have to make it so that we can hear you even when you don't speak.
Oh gosh, I know, I know. One of these days, one of these,
Yeah.
I'll get around to that. So the second line, and I was quiet because I was just reading that second line again, which is another bombshell. And the bombshell line, the second one is Stutya Maya Vakparata. Vakparata hatate. Hatate against is denying. So Stutya, meaning stuti or meditation. Vakparata. That the fact that Vak is form. Vak par yani formless. Formlessness, I am denying. By meditating on you, I given you form. I meditate on you, meaning there is something I'm meditating on. So I've given you some form in my mind. So you who are vak par, yani without form, I've given you form and thus denied your formless nature. So by meditating on you, I've denied your formless nature. You, this truth, this awareness, this oneness, this consciousness has no form. I mean, if you really, really just, ask yourself the simple question of, am I there? And you say yes. And you say, well, what is that which is there, which is always there? And can you find any shape for it? Can you find any size, any color, any anything you can see? There's nothing that you can see, touch, feel, hear, smell, taste, nothing, no form. So and where is that presence? Can you give a place to it? Is it only here? Is it only in the Himalayas? Is this awareness only in the stars, only in a temple? No, you don't find any particular location. In fact, there is no location, or you can say every location, because something that has no location is there is it has nothing to do with location, and therefore location is irrelevant to it. Or you can say it's everywhere, because no matter where you go in the universe, that is present. So by going on a pilgrimage, I've denied your omnipresence, and by meditating on you, I've given you form in my mind, and thus denied your formless nature. Thus denied your formless nature. So क्या करें अब ये बॉम्ब अगर आ गया है तो क्या करें? We cannot go on a pilgrimage, cannot meditate. The third line is another bomb. I was well. We'll go into the third line later, but so uh, the yeah. So now if you are, because see, like we were saying on the other day, that एक तरफ से हम ये बातें मान जाते हैं. We agree, we understand, we believe, we read, we, whether I say it or you read it in so many books on non-duality or on consciousness, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Ashtavakra Gita, and even in other shlokas of this Avdut Gita, there is all this deep insight into, yes, this I am, this formless, ever present, always present awareness. And we know it, we agree with it, we experience it. But then when it comes to living, we forget it. We act as if we never heard of such a thing. And we go here and there, we never heard of it. We go on a pilgrimage, we meditate as if some form is preferred to any other form, and as if, that as if by meditating you will experience divine, which you cannot experience outside of meditation. Whereas the reality is, and we know it, no matter what it is, anything and everything can be traced back to its root. And if we trace, no matter what it is, everything traces back to source. whether it's an object, whether it's the noblest of action, whether it's the, and in fact, whether it is even the cruelest of action, even though it's harder to accept that or understand that. But no matter what action, if we trace it back to what is it really made of, we end up at awareness, we end up at consciousness, we end up at this infinite, whatever it is, in religious terms God, and in, in non-duality terms consciousness, and different names on different religions, but we arrive at the same spot. So then we still do that. And this is why, if you look at people like Raman Maharshi and their life, I mean, these are among the rare people who really lived this understanding. uh, Food didn't matter, the body didn't matter, his health didn't matter. He had cancer, suffering from severe, very advanced stage of cancer. And he was like, okay, it's there, that's all. I mean, so what? It's whatever it is, and it is only divine. There is nothing else there is. So by removing it from my body, it was divine before you removed it. What you're removing is divine. What you're removing it from is divine. The person who is removing it is divine. The person who is removing it with that equipment is divine. That part of the body from which it is being removed is divine, and divine is all there is. So what, I mean, the absolute unneededness of any kind of action was so clear to him that he was not interested in getting treated. And it was only on the insistence of his disciples, who, out of their love for him, and of course, being not as much of an avduta, not as much in freedom. This is ultimate freedom. That state of avduta, of ultimate freedom. I don't need to do anything. And that his disciples insisted that he needs to get treatment, and they took him to the hospital. He got surgery, and so on and so forth. But it was completely, and he was okay with that too. So when the disciples insisted that, Swamiji, we have to take you to the hospital. Okay, hospital is also divine, the doctor is also divine, so you are also divine. Take me to the divine, from the divine to the divine. Hospital ho, ashram ho, kahan bhi ho, main to wahi hu. He was so clear on that he did not resist that either. So that is the kind of clarity that this particular line points to. That stute, let me read it again. Stutaya maya, like by being in this state of stuti and in a state of meditation, vak parta hatate, hata is deny. So we are doing that. So, and so Dattatreya, after this is in the last chapter, the first shloka of the last chapter, in which he finally says all this, that I have denied your formlessness by giving your form, whether it is in meditation or in prayer. Um, so I remember a book I read called My Conversations with God, or A Conversation with God, or something like that. And this person has this conversation with God, and he says, well, God, how come I can't see you? I know you are there, and how come I cannot see you? I cannot touch you, I cannot feel you. I want to experience you. And and the response from God, he says, I've chosen to to speak to you through this book, because you're searching and you're so much in this quest, that I'm speaking to you in this way. But I'm always speaking to you. Everything you hear is me speaking. Everything you see is me being visible. If you look at the wall in front of you, And that wall is me. What is it? It is nothing else but me. Whatever you are breathing, the air that you're breathing in and out is me. The one who is breathing is me. The one who is experiencing the breath is me. Whatever you're touching is me. Whatever you're seeing, whatever you're smelling, everything is only me. And here we are going around saying, oh, I can't see you, I can't touch you, I can't feel you. So it is absolutely the opposite. So even though we think, a lot of people ask this question that, that I understand what you're saying, I agree with what you're saying, but I can't experience what you're saying. And the reality and the truth is, it's the opposite. You are only experiencing divine. All your every single experience, every moment, every word, every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every touch is only divine. So it's the opposite. It's not that you understand but you don't experience. The truth is, you experience but you don't understand that you're experiencing. This is exactly the opposite. You're experiencing but not understanding that you are experiencing only that. It's like the fish in the water cannot experience the water because that's all it's known. That is all it has seen. It has not seen not water. Therefore, it cannot see water anymore. And you and I have not seen anything but divine. We have not smelled anything but divine, tasted anything but divine, seen anything but divine. So, given that it is like the fish in the water, we cannot see the divine, or at least we think we cannot see the divine because we have not seen anything else. There's nothing else to compare it to. It's all there is. So, this incomparable formless form, I have denied that formlessness by giving you form. And let's see, do we have time for the third line? uh, I think we do. Okay. So I think we'll take this all the way today. The third and the fourth line, which is the sort of another bomb and another bomb. But the point of unlike those bombs that are falling on in Ukraine, to which our hearts and minds go out, these are bombs which awaken. These are bombs which enlighten. These are bombs which can make your life a wonderful, peaceful, happy, joyful journey. Um, so, uh, yeah, just an us. I attended this Economic Times, what do they call it? The Times Economic Conclave or something like that. So it's a 2-day event where a lot of, lot of people like Gautam Adani and Jyotindra Scindia, the Minister of Information and Broadcasting, um, was present and speaking, and it's the title of the whole thing is India. Uh, no, the democratic dividend. India and the democratic dividend. So we are reaping the benefits of the democracy that we have been all these years. We are finally reaping the benefits of being a democracy. And so now there's democratization of technology, democratization of data. I mean, even the chef, the chauffeur, the taxi driver, everyone has a mobile phone, and everyone is democratic on data because data is so cheap. If the monthly price of high speed internet is 20 or 30 or more dollars in the US, in India it's not even $2.50 per month. So there's a democratization of data that has happened, a democratization of technology, and we are reaping the dividend of it. Very interesting. And what impresses me every time I attend one of these is, you may not agree, or I may not agree with everything that Modi ji does, and not every single thing, but I cannot possibly remember a ministry which is full of so many ministers with so much clarity of thought, clarity of communication. I mean, these are ministers who use PowerPoints, who have their numbers at the fingertips. Jyotindra Scindia, who is the Minister of Aviation, rattling off the number of airports in this country, the number of passengers that flew anywhere within India last month, today. Numbers are right off the bat. How many airports he's created, say, in the last 2 years as part of the Udan program? I mean, he's like on top of this. Even the Minister of Information and Broadcasting, very, very eloquent and very clear, like a business plan. I mean, why they got rid of, yeah, they are CEOs more than ministers, definitely. And why they got rid of Air India is just a, purely, it was a loss making business, and they know that it can do much better under a private, as a private entity, than it can ever do as a government. So they, just made the business call to just sell it and divert all they were losing money at the rate of, I think, what did he say? 7,000 crores a month. 7,000 crores a month. He's like, we could have been building roads, hospitals. Instead, we are pumping it into a sinking airline. And he says, now all that money that's being saved, we are now putting into other uses. But point is, I don't know what the point was. I just enjoyed the whole day today, and it was very, very enlightening and very, very wonderful to see such dynamism. Such a great event. It's live on TV also. So if you guys have the Times Now channel, it's every morning from today and tomorrow, 9:30 to like 10 p.m. tomorrow. So we'll be there. You might see me, and then you can wave, sitting in the audience. But yeah, but somebody started singing a song and they forgot the line, so I had to shout it out, and it was fun. The minister was singing, he said, jahan dal dal par sone ki चिड़िया करती है बसेरा, वो भारत देश है मेरा. And then he forgot the second line. Unfortunately, I remembered. So please help me. So I shouted it out. जहाँ सत्य अहिंसा और धर्म का पग पग लगता डेरा, वो भारत देश है मेरा. So it was fun. But point I'm making is, no matter where you are, whether you are in this conclave or you are in the temple or you are in your house, and whether you are on a pilgrimage or you are making your dinner, every experience is an experience only of divine. There is nothing else. And so is meditation. So then the question, of course, comes, should we meditate? And then let me go to the third line also, which is, fine, Sonal says don't call it a bomb. Okay, let's call it something else. We'll call it a Mahavakya. Each one is a Mahavakya. So the first Mahavakya was Tvadyatra Vyapakta Hatate Dhyanen. Oh, so sorry, I forgot. I skipped the second line. Dhyanena Cheta. Gosh, I translated it completely wrong. Dhyanena Cheta Parta Hatate. So dhyan, now it is much clearer. Dhyanena means meditation mein cheta parta hatate. I read the third line instead of the second line. So anyway, we are done with the third line. But the third line was about stuti. So stuti is a hymn. When you sing a bhajan or a hymn, stutaya maya vak parta hatate. So second line is dhyanena cheta parta. So dhyanena is meditation. Cheta parta. Cheta is chit or form, body. Chet parta means formlessness. Hatate, denial. I was thinking this tutaya can't be dhyanena, but I was reading the English translation and going by that. So I think this translation is correct. Okay. So the third line is tutaya maya vak parta hatate. So the third line is, by singing hymns, I have described you and thus denied your indescribable nature. So by singing bhajans or singing hymns about you, I have described you. Tvameva mata, tvameva karunamaya, tvameva this, that, and the other. I describe you. It may be beautiful description, but it is still a description. And ultimately it is indescribable. Divine cannot be described. It is beyond description. And that reminded me of a conversation you and I had, Dr. Datta, Swarup Datta, where we were in the retreat, we were talking about, this is the nature of reality, the nature of consciousness. But and then you were telling me, is it wrong to do that? Because ultimately it is there, you cannot describe it. Isn't it wrong to say that you are formless and you are, even though it's that which is nirgun, usko gun dekar hum kya, are we not limiting that formless? And is it wrong to do that? And and while this slok is not saying it is wrong, but it is a denial. It is a denial of the indescribable nature to put it into any kind of a shape or any kind of a form. No matter how beautiful your description may be, no matter how, devotion and how much love and how much of compassion with which you are describing, you are still describing something which is ultimately indescribable. So that's what the third line is. So and I whereas as I was reading, I was remembering that conversation. But we need to, so what is the fourth line? The fourth line says, kshamasya nityam trividha paradhan. Kshamasya, kshamasva. So forgive me, nityam, please forgive me always. Trividha paradhan. Trividha means these three ways in which I have, three offenses that I have committed. Please forgive me for these three offenses that I have committed. I have gone on pilgrimages which has denied your omnipresence. I have meditated on your form, even though you are formless. I have described you, even though you are indescribable. So these three offenses, even as a seeker, even as a bhakta, even as a truth seeker, we are guilty as charged of these three offenses. And this is an absolute acknowledgement of saying that that is true, that it is not enough to just say that you are everywhere. I want to live as if you are everywhere. It is not enough to just say I will meditate 20 minutes a day and that's it. But I want to be in that state of meditation and know that you are all forms, see you in all forms. And also, when I describe only this particular aspect of you, why can I not describe and see you in the poorest of the poor, or in the ugliest of the ugly, or in the, or in the depths of sorrow, the depths of despair, in the depths of darkness? Also, you're present, because there is only you. So whenever I limit, I am, no matter how beautiful the limitation, it's a limitation. And for these three offenses, I ask for forgiveness. So that's the full shloka. So what, where does that leave us is where, where we want to take this understanding to one more step. So while all this is true, that by singing a hymn, I am definitely describing something which is completely indescribable. It is true. So the question is, should we not do that? Is it wrong to do that? Should we not do that? Should we not describe? Should we not go on a pilgrimage? Should we not meditate? So I don't know. Anyone has thoughts on that before I share what I'm thinking about this? हाँ पांडे जी.
वो तो थॉट्स है.
Yeah.
आपने तो समंदर में डुबो दिया फिर से हमको.
Right.
बूंद कह रही है कि मैं समंदर ही हूँ, तो मेरा अपना अस्तित्व क्या है? अब वो समझ में आ रहा है। बड़ा थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हो गया है इसमें। अब आप 2-3 सेशन लेंगे तब क्लैरिटी आएगी।
अच्छा, ओके, राइट। बूंद 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 अब कह रहा है समुंदर को कि
हाँ,
मैं आपका रूप जानता हूं, और आप विशाल हो, और आप अनंत हो, और फिर अब क्षमा मांग रहा है कि मैंने आप जैसे असीम समंदर को मैंने विशाल कह दिया।
नहीं, वो ये कह रही कि मुझे बार बार ये इसमें सूर्य प्रकाश से उड़ उड़ के इवेपोरेट है कि फिर वो आकर धरती पे गिरना, फिर बह के जाना, फिर समंदर में मिलना, ये
करेक्ट, 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 करेक्ट।
आत्मा का ये
यस,
साइकिल क्यों?
yes, yes, very beautiful thought. Yeah, I continuously get evaporated and separated from you, and I take this other forms.
Looks like get separated,
Yeah,
maybe.
looks like separation, but actually is not separation, because बूंद और सागर में अल्टीमेटली क्या फर्क है?
हाँ,
कोई फर्क नहीं है। बूंद तो बूंद ही है। इवन इफ इट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ वेपर और इट इज इन द फॉर्म ऑफ रेन, it is still water. It is only water. Its ultimate substance never changes, even though apparently it changes.
कहीं ऐसा लगता है आत्मा की कुछ ड्यूअलिटी जैसा कई बार लगने लगता है, कुछ मतलब दो रूप हैं उसके। एक
Correct.
एक तो ये रूप है आत्मिक वाला, और एक वो अनंत स्वरूप है जिसका
Exactly.
मतलब अगर जैसे वो कहते हैं कि आकाश में घड़ा रख दिया, तो घड़े के अंदर भी आकाश है, घड़े के बाहर भी आकाश, बट
Right.
स्टिल देयर इज अ बिट सॉर्ट ऑफ सेपरेशन,
Some apparent separation.
apparent separation, yes.
Apparent very good. Very deep inside. Wonderful. Huh, Pankaj?
I was going to say, the beauty is to it's fine to do all of this, but knowingly. I mean, so it's like, when you say that, let's come out of the state of freedom into this state of dream
Yeah.
at the beginning of this satsang. But do it knowingly.
Do it knowingly.
Right. So as long as you do it knowingly, that's been my experience. As long as you do it knowingly, you do all these things and get tremendous joy out of it. As
Absolutely.
long as you do it knowingly. And I think
Absolutely.
that
That is the difference. That is the difference. If you are going on a pilgrimage thinking that I have to find God somewhere and that I am separate from God, that is one kind of experience of searching. It's a search, it's a thirst. It's one kind of experience, nothing wrong with it also, because thirst is also divine. but but the other way, which is the knowing that whether I'm in my house or whether I'm in my office or in the garden or in the temple, all there is you. And knowing that, I yet choose to go on a pilgrimage not to find divine, but to experience whatever that pilgrimage is, whatever that is, in that form, in that shape, that peace, that quiet, that particular aura, that particular sound of the temple or the church or the wherever the pilgrimage, to experience that form of divine, called the Shankeshwar Mandir or the Somnath temple or the church of Basilica or whatever that is. So to experience divine in that form, not so that I can find divine.
exactly.
And same thing with meditation. Not that I look for form. I meditate so that I can find God in meditation, and it's not in any other form. But knowing that it is in this glass and in this microphone and in this person and in this thought and everywhere, I yet dwell in that peaceful aspect of divine, which is, one is this dream, which is all the activity of divine, and then there is the sleep of divine, which is the peaceful, calm, loving, accepting, compassionate nature of divine. And I choose to go into that form and be in that form to experience that form of divine, not as a denial of form, but to experience that particular aspect, that particular form, which is available in meditation. And it may be different things for different people. I'm not saying there's only one form. And same thing with the bhajan and the hymn, that
Precisely. Yeah.
yeah, that knowing that ultimately indescribable, and yet I choose to describe it in poetry, in song, in the most beautiful composition of Bhaja Govindam, or that other one, the what was that English one that we sang the other day? um Heaven Tide, what was that? Amruta, you remember? Kya tha wo? That hymn.
No, not really.
But you know which hymn I'm talking about. We sang the hymn
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the retreat.
yeah.
Uh, oh gosh, it'll come to me. But yeah, so whether it's that hymn or what, so it's to experience that form, to experience that particular description as a matter of choice. And by the way, this is the most you and I can do in this form anyway, right? What is the
Right.
most, what is, what is the most that, at least do the most that you can do given this limitation, given this limited brain, this limited intelligence, this limited senses. I mean, I can only perceive what is right around me. I cannot directly perceive what's going on in France or America or whatever. I cannot directly in silence communicate my thoughts yet, and all of that. So, given this limited shape, this limited form, limited being, what is the most that I can do? At least let me do that. And that includes meditation, that includes devotional expression, poetry, art, music, pilgrimage, all of that. So, this is the kind of the samadhan of the whole thing, that while that is true, yet what? Which is kind of what we discussed on that day also, Swarupji, that, yeah, I mean, we understand this is, it's true that we cannot, and yet this is the best we can do. So at least let's do that in this human form. And what else is there outside of it? I mean, I don't know how much truth there is. I don't know firsthand, but I have no reason to disbelieve it either, when so many of these devotees of some of these uh, saints say that, I was just in meditation, or Guruji ने आके मेरा operation हो गया और मैं चलता शुरू हो गया, and I have no reason to disbelieve. I have no first-hand experience of it, but I have no reason to disbelieve it either. So that's what is possible. I mean, but at least in this form, this is possible. So let's do that. Let's do that. At least that. At least that. Great. Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And see you on Saturday. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jai Gurudev. Bye.